Game Freak improved the AI in Pokémon Yellow, right? Right? Well, they improved the Lorelei's AI, but improved isn't the right word. It was done to prevent a very time-consuming scenario from being so easily reproducible. In my last video, I spoke about how the AI decides what to do in Pokémon Red and Blue. In this video, I'm going to cover how the AI is improved, kinda, in Pokémon Yellow. Like most third versions of Pokémon games, Yellow has a lot of differences compared to the two games that it's based on. Pokémon Yellow would see the introduction of lots of new features that wouldn't be seen in Pokémon for many generations, like follower Pokémon, next seen in Generation 4's Heart Gold and Soul Silver. When I discussed how the Pokémon Red and Blue AI could be manipulated into choosing specific non-damaging moves that would benefit the player, there's also the chance that the player could accidentally stumble into a seemingly endless situation. The battle with Lorelei is an especially egregious example of this. As the first member of the Elite Four, once you enter Lorelei's room, you can't leave, and an unsuspecting player could save in the room before battling her, leaving them in an endless situation given the right circumstances. If the player were to enter the Elite Four with one underleveled fighting or poison type Pokemon against Lorelei's Dugong, which is her first Pokemon, then she will always choose the move Rest, a move where Dugong will fall asleep and regain all of its health. As explained in my last video, this is because Psychic is super effective against fighting and poison type Pokemon, and the AI believes this is the best move to use, even though it will inflict no damage. If the player's Pokemon is not able to do enough damage before Dugong wakes up, then it would mean that even if the Dugong slept for the full 7 turns before waking up, it would not get knocked out before it wakes up and uses Rest again. This would continue until the player's Pokemon runs out of power points for all of its learned moves and knocks itself out with the move Struggle. For those that don't know, Struggle is a move all Pokemon use when they use up all of the power points for the moves that they do know. In Generation 1, Struggle is a 50 base power normal type move that deals half the damage dealt to the foe back to the user as recoil. This would mean the player would have to knock themselves out so the battle could eventually end. But what about Dugong's power points? Rest only has 15, so it would eventually run out, wouldn't it? Well, no. This is because of another Generation 1 quirk, where the AI's Pokemon doesn't use any power points, and can use any of their moves infinitely. But I said this was a seemingly endless battle, didn't I? If the player's Pokemon has a finite amount of power points, then the battle will only last for that many turns. So is it possible that this battle could last even longer? The answer is yes, of course there is. So to set up this situation, we need a fighting or poison type Pokemon that can use the move Rage. Why is the move Rage important? If a Pokemon uses Rage in Generation 1, then it would be locked into using the move until it is knocked out or the move misses. Every time the Pokemon using Rage is hit by a damaging move, then its attack stat increases by 1 stage. Using the move only uses 1 power point when it is chosen, and Rage is automatically chosen on the subsequent turns, meaning its power points don't decrease any further. Rage is a 100% accurate move, so this means that the Pokemon will use Rage endlessly then, doesn't it? And because Lorelei's Dugong will use Rest to recover and won't attack, the player's Pokemon attack stat won't increase, so we will end up in a never-ending loop. Well, not quite. There's another interesting Generation 1 quirk here that saves us from a truly infinite battle. 100% accurate moves in Generation 1 will miss 1 out of 256 times. This is due to a mathematical error where the chance of the move hitting is a randomly generated number between 0 and 255, and the check for 100% accurate moves is that the number generated is less than 255, meaning if the number generated is 255, the move will miss. Rage has 20 power points, so the move would need to miss 20 times before the battle could end. The issue must have made it back to Game Freak as they changed how Lorelei's AI works in Yellow. It is likely this was done to prevent similar situations like Rage and Rest being used in a seemingly endless loop. The game has a specific check for the trainer class Lorelei, using the Pokemon Dugong, and applies a slight modification to the move the AI will choose. There is now around a 40% chance that the super effective typing will be ignored on Dugong's moves, meaning that there is a good chance that Dugong will not use Rest. This means that Dugong could use one of its other moves that isn't Rest, hopefully ending the fight earlier than what would happen if the player's Pokemon had to knock itself out with Struggle recoil damage after using up all of its power points. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.